laser heads, welcome back to our channel. Today we have Amanda Davis, right? Amanda
Hello.
Davis.
Yeah.
Amanda Davis is from Idaho?
Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho. And Amanda's just finished our CO2 class, and you know, throughout the week we've had a lot of time to interact with our students, her and also the ones in fiber. But she has a pretty interesting story about how she found us and how she ended up with San Antonio Laser Engraving. But first, I just want to ask you, how did you hear about us? Tell us about yourself. I guess tell us about yourself first. What?
Okay, so I am 31 years old this month, whoop whoop. And I've been working for other people for a long time. I started working when I was like 14 years old in the service industry, and honestly, I'm like burnt out on it. I've tried other things. I've tried real estate. I've sold insurance. I've done a lot of things, and crafting things is just my passion. Like, it's what I've always liked to do. It's my happy place. So I was shopping online one day and, saw some really cool art done with like laser cutters, and I was like, you know what, I can make stuff like that, and started researching lasers, and 3 months later ended up with these guys, and I'm super happy about it. So.
Right, and when you did that homework, when you start searching for lasers, like a lot of people, first thing they land on is Glowforge. I mean, obviously, I think Glowforge does a great job with their marketing, but a lot of people land on that hobby type laser. So how did you decide to kind of not do that and go with something, that's a little bit more? Is it because you wanted to do a business, or I mean, what was your thought process behind
so
that?
I actually almost bought a hobby laser. I was going to go with the Muse 3D full spectrum. Was almost sold on it, like almost pulled the trigger, and decided to do just a little bit more research, and found out that I was going to be very limited with a laser like that, as far as what I could create and what I wanted to do. And I wanted to start my own business. Like, I'm tired of working for other people, so I didn't want to have limitations on that. So I almost bought that. I'm glad that I decided to do more research. But through that process, I almost bought a Boss laser. I almost bought a Thunder laser. And was
when you say you almost bought a laser, like how close were you to buying a laser?
I was approved for the financing. So the Thunder laser, I was getting ready to pull the trigger, and on my Facebook, because I had been Googling and doing all kinds of research, an ad for them popped up one day, and I was like, what's that? Like, I might as well check it out. Why not? So I looked at it, and it was really important to me to have like a US based laser company, just because I've read a lot of stories and reviews about people ordering machines off of Amazon, or getting them from China, and they get here and either the whole machine needs calibrated and they have no idea how to do it, or they, something breaks and they can't get parts, and then they're just, they spend all this money and don't have anything to back them, So it was important to me to find like a US based service and laser company. That way they would stay with me like through my whole process. And I saw these guys, they're in San Antonio, so I was like, okay, cool. Right. Yeah, that works for me.
How long was that? How long, you said it was 3 months, or how long were you actually looking? Like?
Yeah, my research from the moment that I thought that I was buying a Muse till I ended up here was 3 months.
Wow. That's a lot of homework.
So like 3 months of just researching. I'd lay in bed at night till 2 in the morning just
in that homework process, did you follow anybody like online, or anybody like influencers? I always kind of am curious as to how, obviously all companies want to know how you find us, but what was the deciding factor when you've already got financing for Thunder? Why back away from that, and why go somewhere else?
So Michael, your guys' sales guy, I talked with him on the phone, and I had told him, the machines that I was already looking at buying, like my Boss and my Thunder, and through this whole research process, I had wrote down the specs of each laser, and then I was like looking up specs and seeing, with those specs what I can do, like if I had limitations and stuff like that. And so with your guys' lasers, your lasers come with all the upgrades in it,
Right.
And so we sat down because we looked at price ranges. Okay, yeah, yours are a little bit more spendy, but when you go through and actually break down the specs, all of your parts are so much better. Like they're all the upgrades, and when you add the upgrades to those other lasers,
same price.
Their lasers actually become more expensive,
Right.
And
that's a tough thing too that people forget about is we don't really a la carte you, right? Like we're giving you the most power that'll fit in this machine. We don't say you can have 100 or 80 or 100. We just give you the 100. Like, that's just not we just give you the most that you're gonna get. I mean, if you don't use it, you don't use all of it, but it's the capability is there, right?
Yeah,
So,
and with the other lasers too, they were wanting you to add on, you know, the chillers and the exhaust and all these things.
which you need to make, you need it to make it run.
Yeah, you need those. And so, I mean, they're going to sell you a laser, and that's not going to work without these things. I mean, that doesn't really make much sense because you need all of those parts to do what you're doing and to be running your laser. So, yeah, after we sat down and went through all the specs, and then you guys offered your training because, you know, looking at a laser, I've never played with a laser before. I'm like, this is extremely intimidating, you know. That's another reason why I think that it, you know, took me a while to get down here. Was it just when you're jumping into something new like that, you have no idea about the technology. It is a little bit intimidating, you know.
How do you feel from Monday to? I mean, it's already Thursday. How's that process? Like,
I'm just so excited to like go home, just make stuff. Like I'm just gonna do all the things. Like people are gonna have to drag me out of my garage. Like I'm just gonna be in there just making stuff.
I know, and it's so cool.
I feel super comfortable with my laser now. Xavier has like walked me through, you know, how to set up my machine, if things go wrong, how to fix it, which honestly you would think that they would be super complicated. They're not. The way that they have them set up, it's like super easy to troubleshoot things. So how to clean it, how to properly take care of it. And
you've done some cool stuff in class. I mean, in class, just when I'm walking through here, I just see some of the cool things you've done, and you've already into. That's the great thing about the training too, is you're kind of into some things that maybe for other people would be advanced, you know, like, and you're already into like powder coating and, you know, like
that's
some of those advanced techniques, which is, you know, it's great. You're just kind of jumping ahead of the line, you know, for a lot of other people.
Yeah, I kind of want to push the limits and, you know, like go out of the box and see what I can do with this thing.
Right. That's awesome. It's awesome, Amanda. Well, I appreciate you taking a minute to sit down and talk with us. What would you say to someone who's on the other side of the camera and they're like, I don't know if this is right for me. I don't know if, you know, this company, that company. There's so many companies to choose from, and it can be overwhelming. Like, what do you say to somebody like that?
I would say anybody could sell you a laser. Having the support system and like these guys here, honestly, I feel like these guys have become my family in like 4 days. So I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be coming back and like hanging out with them. They're gonna be flying out to Boise, hanging out with me, and we're definitely gonna keep in contact. But just like having a support system, you know, and people who really know what they're doing and talking about. And if something happens and you have questions, like you have a whole group of people that you can go to. And like doing all that research on your own would take so much time, so much energy, and they just offer all of that to you. So I would 1000% recommend it to anyone.
And that's the thing, is one of the big things about, you know, you say it like that, it's kind of a funny thing, but we do talk about family. Like we treat all of our clients like family, and I know you've heard me say this a few times, your success is our success. So if we can create a bunch of success stories, that lets us be successful.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
really what we're trying to do here. So I appreciate you taking a minute to talk with us,
course.
Amanda. If you guys want to know more about lasers, please look at our website, www.salelasers.com, or follow any of our social medias, San Antonio Laser. And there's a lot of great info on there. There's a lot of other people who've sat in this chair just like Amanda, and we try to capture their stories on camera because it is tough to, you know, communicate who we are as a company without other people talking about it. So thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
and
problem.
see you
Thanks
next
for
time,
having me.
Laserheads. Yeah. Cool.
That went good.
It did.
Right?
That's great.
High five.
One shot.